Well, welcome everybody.
Wow.
Oh, we do have a Spanish translation if you want one.
No, that's fine, thank you.
Oh, no problem.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. I'm really happy for today because every day has its own challenges, right? And it's always nice that we have the gift of additional seconds and minutes and hours in our lives because these are very precious times, right? So we're really happy that you're here. You know, this is our clinic logo. We're still working on it. If you have any ideas, please share with us. Billy and I are actually putting it together so we can make something like a button. Like CUSM has a little button, so it's gold. The idea is that we are, each one of us is unique as footprints. The footprints are just as amazing as the fingerprints. And it said that unless there are like 7 trillion people living at the same time on Earth, there is not going to be another one, even among identical twins, who matches this. So each of us is unique. And so many times we clump everybody together, oh, so-and-so, so-and-so. Each person is unique, and everything had to be personalized. So even though it is eating a certain food, some food doesn't go well with somebody else, somebody else's body. You know what I mean? So everything has to be personalized. But the potential is there to be unique, and we are born with all this potential, but we have to discover it on our own. So we feel that our clinic, we want to partner with you to discover yourself and what works best for you. That is our goal. So the first step means many things. You cannot jump the Grand Canyon. You can't do a journey of 1,000 miles with one step, right? But after the first step, it is no longer 1,000 miles journey. So small increments. So that is what we are hoping to do in the clinic. So I do prescribe medication, but that is the last resort. We want to use what nature has provided us, what we have received. It is said that only like 20% of our health is inherited, genetics and all that. 80% is environmental and what we make out of it. So there is a lot, but it all begins with the first step. So each time we come here, we want to talk about a little change you can make. Now, I was thinking this is the third time we are here. We just have one more session. I want to read something here. It says, a common insightful quote about habits shaping character comes from Lao Tzu. He says, watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny.
Wow.
So, and the thing for this is that we need to have a certain amount of endurance. You look at drops of water, the rainwater, it falls in a little drop. Not much significance, but it keeps dropping. Then it becomes a flood, and then it's a force that we cannot deal with. So similarly, we should not stop with the first step. We have to take the second step, third step, the fourth step. We need to keep going. So that is one of the things that we want to emphasize. So I think I've taken enough time from them. I had to turn the time over to Niall, Daisy, and Alyssa.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to see you all here today. We have some returning faces. We have some new faces. So basically what this workshop is we're going to be speaking about blue zones. Now, off the top of your head, does anyone know what a blue zone is?
No.
Okay. So basically, in general, blue zones are areas around the world where people have a longer life expectancy and they have a healthier, happier life. And there's actually a lot of reasons for this. It's not because of necessarily their genetics, those inherent things that people have, what they're born with. It's because of the choices they make as they live. And there's four big sections that make up the characteristics of these blue zones. It's having a sense of belonging, having a sense of purpose, what you eat and how you move, how you have that physical activity. So basically in these workshops, we're going to be covering all these different aspects and give you guys kind of, a bit of guidance, some advice about how to implement these changes in your life so you can kind of have, that longer, healthier, happy life. Because we just don't want a longer life if it's one that's filled with a lot of difficulty. You want the healthiest, happiest life you can have, right? And there's tons of blue zones around the world, and there's actually one in Loma Linda. So the whole point is, just because these things may be difficult to kind of implement for some people, it is still possible. And kind of going back to Dr. Moses' mantra, that taking that first step, taking those small steps towards having that big success. So we're going to kind of break down those four topics for you guys and kind of go through them each. You guys all have handouts. All the information that we're covering in this presentation will be available in those handouts, and then the presentations themselves will be available online if you guys ever want to go back and refer. And we want this to be a very informal kind of discussion. We're not just here to lecture at you. If you have questions, please talk to us. If you want to have a conversation, please talk to us. We just want to do whatever we can to help you, and hopefully we can all grow on this journey together. And this is the third presentation in a series of 4 workshops. So our next one will be the conclusion of the series, and we will start again. But that doesn't mean to say, hey, you guys can't come again. We'd love to see you as much as you guys can. So we'll get started. I'll hand it off to Daisy to speak about the first aspect. Thank you.
So these are the 4 components of the blue zone. We have belong, purpose, eat, and move. And I'll go ahead and begin with the belonging section. So, as now mentioned, this is our 3rd session. Last week I talked a little bit about, also I just want to do a mic check. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Last week we talked about belonging in the sense of finding identity, because having a strong sense of identity and belonging within yourself can help translate to finding those in your community as well. But this week I kind of want to focus more on finding belonging in the communities around you, either within your friends or family or at work or school. But I kind of wanted to first start on an overarching question to kind of help frame our understanding of belonging and just give us a space to reflect before we think about how to apply that in our communities. So on the slide, I have 2 questions. I know that may be a little bit more personal, but I still want to give you guys the opportunity to kind of think about what belonging means to you and how you feel when you read these questions. So the first question I have is, what did it feel like when someone sees you for all that you are, in the way that they accept you or they understand you and they show a lot of love and affection towards you? And the second question I have is, what are things that they have done or said to help you feel this way? And also another way of seeing is how do you create or find the sense of belonging? So I want to give you guys a couple of minutes to just so let that sit with you and think about it. And then I can personally share what that means for me. And of course, if anyone feels comfortable, I'd love to hear from you guys as well. And you can think about it, write it down on your paper, whatever works for you guys.
Want us to say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
While someone sees me for all that I am, that's scary.
That's understandable.
Maybe just a piece of me, a piece of vision. And it's good because somebody notices me, I see you, or you see me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that relates to what you said about last month about self-identity.
Mm-hmm.
That I am who I am.
So you mentioned that you feel scared when people see
All?
all of you. That's completely understandable because normally, naturally, you want people to see like the best sides of us.
Yeah.
But I also think there's beauty in being like having someone see the good and the bad and still being with you and embracing that and understanding that. I think that for me helps. It feels more genuine and I feel even more seen than if they just saw the good parts of me. Yeah. Go ahead.
I kind of feel like it would be a sense of unconditional love and acceptance. You know, saying I'm not going to be conditional with you and accept the good parts.
Yeah.
I'm going to accept all of you, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah. Exactly.
And, you know, saying I love you, I care about you as a person.
Yeah.
It
Exactly.
doesn't necessarily have to be anything more,
Yeah. Exactly.
you know, but when you've got somebody that's, you know, conditional, how can you be yourself?
Yeah, and it's honestly pretty stressful too because you might walk on eggshells or not, just stress
Don't fool
about
yourself.
the image you want to present. And Joselita, I want to ask a question if you wouldn't mind. You said that you would like people to see one part of you, and you linked it back to the self-identity. What aspect of you would you feel most comfortable with people seeing, if you feel comfortable sharing?
Oh no, a little bit at a time. I mean, a piece of me, that's good. You know, that's a good start.
Of course.
I'm embarrassed when Dr. Moses introduces me and
We
says,
see that. We notice that.
I don't know, but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but thank you. But I accept myself.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think
awesome.
that's the other thing you mentioned. Remember last month you said some self-identity and self-acceptance.
Yeah.
But thank you.
Yeah, you shouldn't feel embarrassed at all. I honestly feel really happy when I can get to know at least some parts of someone, so it kind of helps me understand who they are and kind of know more about their story. I also want to ask more of the question, I guess, to everyone. Are there specific things? So you mentioned when someone says "I love you." I think that's a really big thing to hear, and it's a very direct way of saying "I accept you, I see you." Are there other ways that people show their acceptance or love in your life? This can be to anyone, by the
By
way.
actions.
By actions. I think for me personally, my family focuses a lot on, they say I love you, but they also do a lot of actions. So for example, my dad, if he saw my gas was low, he would go get gas for me, even though I didn't ask. Or I'm really grateful. I would always be surprised every time because I would think oh, tomorrow I have to get gas. But when I go, my car is full. Or my mom, she would make sure I have enough food when I go to school, kind of thing. Even though it's not direct, I think that her actions are very loud and saying oh, I thought about you and I'm thinking about you in the future as well.
Right.
So for me personally, those things help me feel seen and they make me feel really loved as well.
Well, with my husband and I was in my 20s when I had my first surgery, and
must be
I
scary.
couldn't use my hand for 6 months, and so that was very hard on myself.
Yeah, it sounds
emotionally,
really hard.
mentally, and
Yeah.
physically, and I felt bad. Here he is having to help me in the shower and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Didn't think, here it is, I'm in my 20s and my husband's going to have to help me with that.
Yeah.
Well, then here he is, when he had his rupture, he didn't anticipate, here he is in his 40s having to have his wife step up. But that's
Yeah.
another form of an action of unacceptable love.
Yeah, exactly.
Or unconditional love.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
exactly. I think that was a really strong example. I also think it's natural to feel shy or self-conscious or even bad that someone you love is doing things for you. But I think what helps me with that personally is thinking about the fact that if it was them, I would be more than happy and I never have those feelings of frustration or anger. I would want to help them.
Right.
Yeah. So I think for me, understanding that perspectives kind of helps me understand belonging and love in that way as well. Not feeling bad, but just kind of embracing, accepting, the love and care that people share with me. Because if it was flipped, I would be more than happy to do that too.
Right. Or
Yeah.
with our daughter who has early stages of Crohn's or colitis. When she was little, she had to go through colonoscopies, and
That's
she,
really hard.
And she was feeling bad about herself, and cleaning her systems out and stuff like that. So we kind of make it a joke, just to make her feel better, and we'd be like waterfalls.
Oh, that's funny. I like that. Yeah.
So trying to make joke out of it, make fun out of it, not allow her to feel bad about herself.
Yeah, that's like a really strong love of care too, like helping her kind of process and.
Well, for me, you can't allow a child to feel bad about themselves or embarrassed about their health
Yeah,
that they can't
exactly.
control.
Exactly. That's a really good point. Would anyone else like to share about other things, actions, or words that help generate the sense of belonging? Or even like what you think about what belonging means?
Poonam, you're thinking.
Oh.
Tell me this.
No, I am happy that I'm accepted as I am, and that I don't need people to tell me that they love me or anything. It is the action that helps. It is enough. So, in fact, too much of closeness is something which I don't like too much. I prefer to be a little to myself, independent.
Yeah.
Only necessity, wherever necessary, you help each other. It is more than enough. What else can we ask for?
That's true. It's more than worse.
Yeah. Sorry, were you gonna say something? Oh, I agree as well. I think that finding sense of belonging is important, but again, like having the independence or like self-identity is just as important. Just because I think with belonging, you don't want to reach a place where you kind of like lose yourself or like lose yourself in that way. Like I think it's important to have that strong sense of self so you can help or it would help better connect with others as well. Were there specific actions? You said that actions to you are like louder and are more meaningful to you.
Yeah.
Are there like specific actions that you can think of?
Because sometimes words they are just words. They don't really mean it.
Yeah, that is true at times.
Sometimes I'd say that. It's not necessarily true. But sometimes you feel that it is just words you say. But action is more important.
Yeah, I think so. I think they honestly, for me, go hand in hand, where like someone would say something and then it's also shown through their actions. I think for me, that is like the strongest sense of showing affection or care. I think because also like sometimes with words, like when they're seen separately, sometimes people's actions or words don't align with another. So I think like once they go hand in hand, that's for me the strongest example of showing like you really care or love someone. Was there anything else that anyone wanted to share before I move on to the next slide? Go ahead, Dr. Mosley.
When I was a baby, our family was going through a lot. My father died, and
sorry.
I was the youngest in the family of 7.
Wow.
And my eldest brother had a major accident, so he was at home being cared for. So nobody paid much attention to me.
Oh no.
I didn't know a whole lot about my childhood until a few years ago I met a cousin of mine, and she said, I remember something about you. When you were a baby, when you would be in the cradle, I'll just come and look, and you'll be just smiling.
Aw, exactly.
So she passed away, she has passed away, but anytime I want to think about myself,
Yeah.
I know that picture comes to me. So.
Oh, that's such like a beautiful memory. I think that people people that really see you or support you, it really just helps create that sense of belonging again and helping you feel like a lot better, especially like through hard times, I think. Well, thank you everyone for sharing. I know that this topic is pretty personal. We started kind of heavy in the beginning, but I really want to start with the reflection question to just give us that space, because I feel like when life is really busy, it's easy to forget these things. And even though we may all feel a sense of belonging, I think having that space to think about it just makes it that much more meaningful and strong in your life. And the next slide I want to talk about is how you can find a sense of belonging in other places. So for example, at home or work. I covered up what I wrote down because I wanted to ask you guys how you guys find a sense of belonging or things that you can do at home. So I guess I can say one example. So one example that I would think of for finding a sense of belonging at home, belonging to me is finding a really strong sense of community, and that means setting aside quality time or like setting aside quality time for each other. So in my family specifically, I think dinner is like a really big thing. No matter like how busy we all are, at the end of the day, like my grandparents, my mom, my dad, my brother, like we're all there eating dinner at that time. And I think that because like we all have different work schedules and everything, but we still set aside like, okay, 6 or 7, like we're gonna be there. so that every day we can at least sit and eat and talk for a little. And for us, that's a tradition that we do like daily, or if not daily, then at least weekly, so we can maintain that level of connection and then have that space to just, like enjoy each other's presence and ask each other like what we're up to. But that's like one example of how you can find a sense of belonging at home. Are there any other ways that you guys think that you can find that sense of community at home besides dinners? It can be general as well, it doesn't have to be specific.
Praying together.
Yeah, exactly, like
Get together in
religion.
the living room, talk about if anyone needs to pray for something or any worry or something.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
a very nice connection.
Yeah, that's like a really big deal, like connecting through religion and just having that space to talk about those things.
Even our dogs, they love it.
Oh,
They
really?
always sit and, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so cute. Anything else?
Family movie nights.
Yeah, exactly.
Game nights.
Yeah. Exactly. Like any kind of tradition like that. It doesn't have to be always talking. It could be activities as well.
Like this summer, our thing is going to the beach.
Oh, really?
We haven't been to the beach in many years, and with COVID and then him and just everything,
know,
we
it's
were like,
hard.
okay, we're going to the beach.
Yeah.
So we've gone to the beach a few times. Since our two older kids are now turned into adults, working, going to college, we're like, okay, we've started this thing where every Sunday night we do family dinner night.
Yeah, it's a
My
really
dad
big
comes over, everything.
That's such a big deal.
Yeah.
I think like setting aside that like precedent is really important.
So are you guys empty nesters? Or
No.
not yet?
No, we ended up somehow, some way we ended up with a third. That's he's about 9 years, 10 years difference from our two older.
Oh, okay.
But they're still home.
They're still home.
Oh, that's
One of them's gonna be a doctor or surgeon.
Wow.
Oh
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Congrats.
Yeah.
So these are things that I also thought about as well, like food or just like time to talk. Could be about religion, could be about anything. Also playing games. I also think that exploring unique hobbies of one another and being open to that could also be a way to build connection. So for me personally, I guess it's again about food, but my dad, he really likes to explore like different restaurants. So when we're not doing family dinners, he would talk to our family like, oh, like this is a food I found online, or like he watches like YouTube and he sees them. So he would, it's not as often, not like a weekly or monthly thing, but I would say like every couple months he would take us to like a new place so we can just explore
Try.
the different cuisine
Yeah.
together. And then for active check-ins, just like for me and my brother, I would ask him like, oh, how's school? Or like I would call him like every other week to just see how things are going, because he goes to school out in Pomona and our schedules are different. So sometimes when I'm home, like he's not there. So that is a way for me to like continue to build that connection with him.
That's like our two older kids. They're trying to keep in contact
Right?
because their schedules are so opposite now.
It's like
between
so
work and
hard.
school.
It's so hard. It's so different than like when you're living home, you see each other every day, and now I'm like not seeing him as much.
They still live at home, but their schedules
Yeah.
are opposite.
I know,
so.
it makes it really hard. And then at work, I'll just go ahead and show the slide for this one. I know at work it can be a little bit harder because usually when you're there from like 9 to 5 or so, there's not always a space to like talk. So I think that maybe like grabbing lunch together on your lunch break, or like after work grabbing dinner, or maybe going to like a happy hour or some kind of like trivia or game night after work would be really helpful and useful. I also think at work it's very hard to separate your work identity from your personal life. So I think that's also why it's harder to build that connection at work, because usually when you're at work, you're talking about work. But I think that by creating that space outside, you can get to know each other, and maybe you might even find that you share like similar hobbies and you can go ahead and pursue that with each other. So I put that bullet point of like seeking out relations based on like who they are and not just what they do.
Well, with work, they also have sometimes some companies have company picnics.
Yeah,
for
so
the
that's like
families to come.
that's like a really good way to like get to know each other like on a personal level. But these are all kind of, they're not like the end all be all, but they're just kind of general bullet points on ways that I thought people could find belonging. And I'm glad to hear that for some of you all, like you do those traditions and you do like find other ways to find the community. But any last thoughts before I pass on to the next presenter?
With work, it's kind of important to have your colleagues out there in certain
Yeah.
cases, because like I work in home health and hospice.
Oh.
So it's, of course, I'm in the office in the marketing and stuff like that, and running the insurance and stuff. So it becomes a little, the ones that are seeing the pain every day of, it's so just being there and, checking on your colleagues from time to time, I guess that helps a big way.
Yeah, thanks for sharing
Yeah.
that. I think that does go a really long way, like asking someone how they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we don't always know like what they're going through or what people are thinking like inside.
And that lines up with your seek out relationships also.
Yeah, thank you. I do agree with that. I know that was like a lot of information, but I really want to give you guys a chance to ask any questions or any other closing thoughts before I pass it off. Okay.
Hello everyone, now we're going to be moving on to the next section. We're going to be discussing purpose, which is a very, very heavy topic. Sorry to start off with the really kind of, abstract heavy topics. We're going to take a little break after this section before we kind of delve into our two final sections. So let's get started with purpose. And now for this session, I kind of want to focus about making purpose a part of your daily life. So just kind of speaking about why purpose matters in general. We all have rough times, right? Could be a rough day, could be a rough week. Sometimes it goes on for years and years and years. But one of the things that kind of helps us get through those tough times is having some sort of purpose. And the thing about purpose is you may not just have one purpose. Your purpose may be, I have to provide for my family. My other purpose is I want to give back to my community, but it can also be things that are on a much smaller scale. My purpose is engaging in a hobby I enjoy. A lot of people, their purpose is gardening. And it's just something that motivates you, something that kind of gives you that sense of, okay, I need to get on with my day so I can get this thing done. Even if it's for me, if it's for someone else, something that kind of gives you that sense of, I have something that goes beyond just, taking care of my daily requirements. And the thing about having a purpose is it really adds years to life and life to years. So basically, research actually shows that people with a purpose in life, a strong purpose, whether it's one purpose, multiple purposes, it can actually lead to a happier, healthy life because it can basically make your mind more resilient to some of the damage that happens as time goes on. Because unfortunately, there are a lot of, diseases of the brain. You have things like Alzheimer's, dementia, but you kind of have. There's been studies that show protective effects when you kind of have a purpose that kind of, while it may not prevent you from getting, certain things, it can kind of slow the progression and in some cases kind of lower the likelihood of it occurring at all. And then as well, purpose kind of keeps us motivated, keeps us resilient. Like I was saying before, when we do have those really, really tough times in life, kind of having the thing to get you up in the morning, that's going to make things easier. Things might be really, really tough, but kind of knowing, hey, I have to do this because it might not just be for me, it may be for someone else. It really, really helps you. Speaking from personal experience, my grandfather for a really, really long time, his purpose in life wasn't to live for himself. He was living and working for his family. He was working 3 jobs at one time, wasn't sleeping much. He truly wasn't, he was very honest. He said, I wasn't enjoying life, but he still did what he needed to do because it wasn't just for him. It was for other people. And I think that's something that we can all relate to. A lot of the things we do, they're not just for us. We have loved ones, we have parents, we have children, we have siblings, we have friends. We're not just doing those tough things for ourselves, we're doing it for them to try and put them in a better position. And I think that's something that's really, really powerful that will motivate us when we do go through those tough times. Because unfortunately, life is like that. We will face those tough times and they kind of come here and there. Sometimes it seems like they'll never leave. But having that purpose can kind of help us get to that eventual end point. And then kind of showing how purpose shows up in daily life. It's one of those things, you can have a big purpose. My purpose in life, I want to, donate all my money to charity. I want to go out and change the world. But it can also be these little things that you can do in your daily life. Caring for a loved one. Some of us are carers for people, for our loved ones, people who are going through tough times. We all go through tough times. Having those loved ones taking care of us and us taking care of them, that's our purpose as well. Hey, I have to take care of this person. I care about that person. So regardless of what I'm going through, I have to be there. I have to show up for them. Volunteering, that's something that, is really, really powerful because we're going out of our way to kind of help these people. And we've been, in some cases, when we're in such a, fortunate position, we have to do our best to kind of help those who are in an unfortunate position. Because, life changes like the flip of a dime. Sometimes we're, riding high, everything's good. Sometimes things are tough. So if we can kind of give back to those who have less than us, that's a really, really powerful purpose. And then tending to a garden or taking care of a pet, going back to that thing where it can be something really, really small, just something you enjoy. Think about animals, you know, they give so much joy to our life, but we have to try and take care of them. We have to try and, you know, do what we can for them. So kind of having that, you know, small purpose, all those purposes really, really add up. And before we proceed, can anyone just off the top of our head, maybe in a word or two, kind of name a purpose that, you know, they have in their daily life? It could be for yourself, it could be for someone else.
Taking care of my family.
Exactly, perfect. And I think that's something we can all relate to. You know, like I said, it's not just for us, it's for those people we care about. Is there anything else? It could be a small purpose, it could be a really, you know, grand scale purpose.
I always used to tell my kids, when you want to be happy, help someone.
Exactly, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
it makes you happy more than ever.
Yeah.
My father used to say in Spanish, el que no vive para servir, no sirve para vivir. I don't know how to translate it in English. My father used to say, whoever doesn't live to serve, no vive, is not worthy to live, or is not.
I get what you're saying, yeah,
He used to say that and put it in our minds, so, yeah.
Yeah,
It
perfect.
makes a difference to serve others.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, and us three students from medical school, one of our purposes in life is, you know, trying to get through med school so we can become physicians. And that's just one of our purposes. And I really want to hammer this home. People have many, many purposes, and our purposes change in life sometimes. My father, I've spoken to him before. His purpose before he got married was just having a good time in life, you know, just, you know.
Life.
Yeah, just enjoying. And then he got married. And he's like, okay, now I have to, you know, take care of my family. And then I was born, and he was like, okay, now I gotta get serious. But his purpose changed, and that's a big thing that happens to us throughout life. But the whole point is, regardless of where we are in our life, we can still kind of have some purpose. We can be young. When you're young, purpose can be very, very, I want to have fun. I want to go out, you know, play video games, play with my friends. When you get older, I want to give back in some way. So we always have some purpose in our lives. And then the thing is, it can be kind of difficult to kind of lock down that purpose that you have in life, because we may have these ideas floating around in our head, but kind of making sure that we acknowledge those ideas of this is my purpose, this is my purpose. With our daily going on, you know, things get crazy, things get busy, it's kind of difficult to reflect and kind of think, oh yeah, that is my purpose in daily life. Sometimes we feel kind of tired, we feel unsure about what our purpose is, and when those feelings kind of come up of, I don't know what my purpose is, it's really, really important to look around and see what makes you happy. What kind of gives you that sense of, okay, I did something good. So caring for a loved one, for example, we kind of do that kind of on autopilot sometimes, right? We kind of get used to it, I'm taking care of a loved one. But then when you really, really think about it, I'm not just living for me. And that's a really, really powerful thing. And then when you do find those difficult times, because my mom's told me, hey, you know, you drove me crazy when you were a little kid, but I still did what I could for you because I needed to take care of you. So when, you know, people are difficult, when kids are difficult, kind of knowing, hey, I love this person, they give me a sense of purpose in my life. It makes you kind of, you know, hey, they broke the flower pot, okay, I'll let it slide, you know, because we know how much we care about them, and we know that they give us a sense of purpose. And then it's important to kind of make purpose a part of your daily routine, not just having that purpose in the back of your head, like I said, but kind of reflecting on it and acknowledging it. So something that I kind of recommend, and this is something that I've tried to do, is keeping a daily journal. Kind of thinking, okay, what was my purpose today? What did I do good today? What helped me today? And the thing about this exercise is it could be anything. It doesn't have to be something coherent. This is just for you. This isn't for anyone to see. What gave me purpose? What made me happy today? And kind of knowing that it kind of helps you hone in on those things in the future. Oh, volunteering today made me happy. You know what? I'm going to do that in the future again, because it kind of gave me an extra sense of purpose. And it kind of helps you sift away all the things that, you know, we just do because we have to, and the things that we do because we want to, and there's some deeper meaning behind them. And it's really important to try and find new purposes in your life if you can. So things like finding a new hobby, that can kind of give you an added sense of purpose, because it's much stronger research shows that it's much stronger to have several different purposes kind of supporting you rather than one big purpose. So if your big purpose in life is, I'm going to become a millionaire and donate all my money, that's a very big purpose, but it's a very difficult one to achieve all at once, right? So like Dr. Moses says with his clinic, having that first step, so kind of having these little purposes to implement into your daily life, that's going to be much, much more sustainable than having this, you know, big grand purpose that's going to be really, really difficult to reach, that might take years, the one that you might never get to. It's really, really helpful to kind of have those things that kind of push you along, because it's much, much easier to have these things pushing you towards your goal rather than you having to, you know, like walk towards it without anything behind. And I kind of wanted to leave you guys off with one small question to ask yourselves. And you guys can write this down. You can kind of keep it in your head. Just something to think about for the rest of the day. What's one small thing I can do this week that gives me meaning? It doesn't have to be something that gives someone else meaning. What gives me meaning? What kind of gives me that sense of purpose in my life? Could be something small, could be something really big. And I think this is a question we should kind of reflect on, on a weekly basis if we can. Kind of, what gave me meaning? Because life kind of becomes this kind of monotonous, kind of autopilot thing sometimes. So kind of reflecting sometimes, it can really help, put things into perspective. Hey, my life has purpose. It has meaning. It is really, really important. It may not just be for me. Maybe for all these other people who I care about and whose lives I try to make better. So on that, we're actually going to conclude this section.
So the next section is a little bit more thinking compared to the very thought-provoking sections that we just had. So I just want to preface this by saying that while we are talking about eating and different ways to eat and different ways to fuel your body, I want you to remember that that eating is very individualized for you as a person, depending on your lifestyle, depending on any pre-existing conditions you have. So while we are going to be talking about sugar today, I want you to remember that depending on who you are, these are not concrete rules that you have to follow. Make sure and modify them for yourself and what makes you healthy or what makes you feel good. So the first session we covered how to eat a more balanced diet, like putting fruits and vegetables into your plate. The second session we talked a little bit more about macronutrients in detail, like proteins, carbs, and fats. And then some questions got brought up last time about sugars. And sugar is a very interesting topic because you hear a lot of things about people talking about sugar. Oh, I'm going to cut out sugar. Oh, there's this type of sugar. Oh, I'm not going to eat that because it's too much sugar. So today we're going to dive into sugars, what that means, and what you are putting into your body, as well as maybe how you can alter your sugar intake to make you feel better. So I want to start by talking about what is sugar. So sugar is a type of carbohydrate that gives your body energy. And there are natural sugars, and these are found in foods like fruits, veggies, and dairy. So just because you're eating something with sugar in it doesn't mean that you're eating something bad, because fruits and vegetables and dairy products do have sugar in them. And sugar is something that your body uses as energy. And then also added sugars are put into foods like candy, soda, and cookies. So when you think about, oh, I don't want to be eating that much sugar, a lot of the times you're thinking about things like that, right? Like you don't want to eat a candy bar or a cookie because it might have too much added sugar. So on the right side, I have a little diagram, and as I click, it's gonna show different types of food and whether it's a natural sugar or an added sugar. And this is just kind of to open your guys' mind up to what you're eating. So the first food that I have is an apple, and an apple is a fruit and it has natural sugar. Soda is one of the foods that has added sugar. Milk has natural sugar. And donuts have added sugar. So I think that these are pretty self-explanatory. You might have already known these. So we're going to go on to something more in-depth now. So we're going to talk about simple versus complex sugars. So simple sugars are sugars that give you quick energy but don't keep you full. And this can include candy and soda. So there may be times where you're like, oh, I really just need a little boost of energy, and that's when maybe you're craving a soda or a candy bar from the gas station. And again, sugars are carbohydrates, so sometimes your body does feel like it needs that quick little boost of energy, and that's why you crave the sugar. So on the left side, there's a picture. It has cake, muffins, candy, cookies. And I just want to reiterate that these simple sugars are what give you a quick burst of energy, but they also give you the kind of sugar that makes you crash after. So when you give a kid a candy bar and you're like, oh, you're going to get a sugar rush, and then they're crazy for a little while, and then all of a sudden they're napping on the floor because they're just out of energy, it's because they ingested a simple sugar, and that was only enough to give them energy for a short amount of time. So when you're eating complex sugars, these are sugars that give you energy, and it's also like in fiber or protein that helps keep you full. So complex sugars are what you eat for the to keep you full throughout the day and to give you long-lasting energy. So this can include things like fruits, beans, and whole grains, carbohydrates that give you energy throughout the day. And then in the picture you see other things like corn, avocados, broccoli, pasta. All of these are carbs that have more complex sugars in them that keep you full longer, keep you having more energy. So at the bottom here it says complex sugars equals steady energy. So when you're going to go ahead and eat, sometimes it's good to think about the contents of not just the meal. Oh, go ahead, Dr. Buzz.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to cover this, but you're going to move on. But think about the sugars. When the blood, the level of sugar in the blood goes up, the body tries to bring it down by releasing insulin. And so if the spike of sugar in the blood sugar is high, a larger amount of insulin is released, and it doesn't stop when the blood sugar gets to normal, it goes lower. And then you got to eat more again, otherwise. So it's a kind of a yo-yo thing going on.
Right.
And with the simple sugars, there is not the minerals, there is not other nutrients, so just the sugar. Whereas on the other side, on the right hand side, you have the complex carbohydrates. They are complex, that is, they have to be broken down the sugar. It takes time for that to be broken down. So that takes time for the sugar to be released into the blood. So it's complex that way. An additional benefit is it's got fiber in it, fiber with it. The fiber also prevents the sugar from being released too easily. So it lengthens the time it takes for the blood sugar to go up. So that is why it's called steady energy. So you got the best of everything. You got sugar that you need. You got fiber that you need. You have all the minerals and vitamins that you need. You have bananas there. I know at least 10 different varieties of bananas.
Really? Really?
Yeah, and apples, so many varieties of apples. So so that is to choose multiple choices from these varieties. That's why they are in such abundance. And in California, it's so easy to get fresh fruit salads. So these are very good snacks, and you're not being cheated of the sweetness. There is a grape called cotton candy grapes. Have you heard of it? They're so sweet and so natural. And of course, anything you got to eat in moderation, otherwise.
I had a question for you, doctor. So you mentioned about the insulin. There's this new catchphrase term that they're using nowadays, insulin resistance. And what exactly is that?
Insulin resistance is when you need, let us say, when you are insulin sensitive, 1 unit of insulin will do the work of 1 unit of insulin. When you become resistant, you need 10 units of insulin to do 1 unit of insulin's work. So the body, essentially, it moves the sugar from the blood to the muscle or to the cells. So the resistance is the level of the cells actually.
So is it a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a bad thing. Resistance is a bad thing. And
because all these new things, like the new diet plans and stuff, they talk about how it's a good thing, insulin resistance.
Resistance is not a good thing. It means the body is not being sensitive to the insulin.
Okay.
And this may, I'm sure, I don't know who's going to cover the moving part, but when even for diabetics type 1, when a person eats and then they move around for about 15-20 minutes, this is it's a cartoonish analogy. It's like a pump that's suctioning something out. So the muscle, when it moves, it needs the energy. It's going to pull the sugar from the blood, even with the little insulin it has. So you can be a diabetic, even type 1 diabetic, with a little motion, you are able to utilize the sugar that is in the blood. It moves into the muscle. So one of the major recommendations, if you are a diabetic and if you want to exercise, the best time to do that is after a meal for the first half an hour or so.
Yeah, so all of that is a really good point, what Dr. Moses was saying, and it's very important to think about. And insulin and diabetes and things like that are very, very complex topics, and if you have time to research them, you should research them just for your own knowledge, because diabetes is something that a lot of people struggle with as they get older, and they're not properly fueling their body. So Dr. Moses kind of gave like a quick recap. Again, it's a very complex process, but what he was saying is basically like in your blood, there's small little insulins, and pretend they're just like little balls, and there's little insulins. When you eat and the food is broken down and the sugar is put into your blood, those little insulins attach to the sugars and take them to where they need to go, and they connect and drop it off, and then go back and get more sugar and keep doing that. So when you're eating things like candy bars and soda, like Dr. Moses was saying, your body starts producing a lot of insulin because all of a sudden you have a lot of sugar in your blood, so your insulin level is going to rise up while it's trying to grab all those sugars and take them where they need to go. But after doing that for so long, your body is going to get tired of doing that. And once it starts to bring the sugar where it needs to go, the places accepting it are going to be like, no, we don't want any more sugar. We don't want to be doing this anymore. So that's when you become insulin resistant. So it's no longer working as a team. So all of a sudden you have just a lot of insulin and a lot of sugar in your blood, and that's when diabetes becomes an issue. And it's very complex, but if you can watch a YouTube video on it or something like that, it's very important to be knowledgeable on that, because while your body does as much as it can to maneuver maybe bad things that are happening, it will come to a point where your body can't do it anymore, and things will change. So you may see people with diabetes, you may think of maybe they don't eat right, or maybe they may be obese, and it's because maybe they're eating foods that are just putting so much into their body that the body is no longer able to distribute it in the proper ways. So yeah, I highly recommend watching a YouTube video on it, where it simplifies the process.
Okay, type 1 and type 2, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's 2 different types. Yeah, it's a super cool process when you really think about it. Diabetes is very, very interesting, so I would watch something on it for sure, or ask Dr. Moses. Yeah, he could talk about it for a long time.
No, I think even YouTube, you want to get reliable sources.
Yeah.
So we can talk about that. By the way, the slides and the audio are being recorded, right? We'll have it in our website, mosesclinic.com, so you can go back and look at it.
Yeah.
So
It's on the pen, right?
yeah.
The website. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No excuses.
And you can go back and watch the previous sessions to learn more about what everybody's section was about. Okay, so next we're going to talk about how much sugar is okay. And again, remember that these are just facts from online. It doesn't mean it's exactly for you. So go ahead and modify it based on your needs. But I want to start off by saying the body doesn't need added sugar, but small amounts of it are okay. And I found this on Google. It said that women should limit added sugars. So remember, added sugars are the ones that are not in fruits, vegetables. Women should limit it to about 25 grams per day, and men should limit it to 36 grams per day.
Why men?
Right? Every time. I know.
They lose weight so quickly, huh?
Yeah, every time.
No fair. But still.
So you want to remember to watch out for sneaky sugars, especially in sauces, drinks, and snacks. And I think one way that we really don't realize we're putting added sugars into our body is when we're making our coffee in the morning. And you're putting the delicious creamer that you have, the birthday cake, the mint shit. They have so many types of creamers, but when you're putting that creamer in, we're putting like 5 times the amount that we should be putting, because it's a very, if you look at the serving size, it's a very small amount of creamer that you're supposed to be using. And that creamer has a lot of sugar, and you're also probably adding regular sugar to your coffee.
And then a quick question, because I try to go like no sugar, but then it has like more bad things than the with sugar.
Oh, like the no sugar creamer, but it it has more fat, or what is it?
I don't know. I stopped drinking coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jew, I can live without coffee.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Me
sure.
neither. I love it.
I'm sure after this section, Dr. Moses can talk about it, but we were just talking to him about he did no sugar for a while, so I'm sure he has
I like
advice.
the black coffee, right?
Yeah. So
I can't.
yeah, the artificial sweeteners don't raise the blood sugar level, but they need to be metabolized somewhere, and they are metabolized in the liver, but they are turned into fat in the liver. So that is why it's not good.
Yeah.
So,
Chemicals.
so yeah, you know, like cereal and all. If you're eating cereals, raisins and the fruit, banana, and all these things are good additives to put on. So you're not starved for sugar, but the artificial sweeteners are bad in
Worse.
respect. If you're trying to lose weight, that's not going to help.
I'm thinking,
Worse
what the
things.
heck?
So while they might not have sugar, they do have other things.
Yeah.
So just remember, like when you're putting extra sauce on your meal or you're putting more ketchup for your fries, just remember that all of those things have sugar, and it's so hard actually. I was gonna say it's an easy way to cut out sugar. No, it's very hard. It's very hard to like be like, okay, I'm gonna eat, but I'm not gonna use the teriyaki sauce today, or I'm not gonna have that little sip of soda with my lunch. It's a very hard thing to do, but that's why we're here today to talk about first steps. And I think one of the first steps to reducing how much sugar you eat is maybe to eliminate things like that. Like for me, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna eat, if I eat chicken and rice today, I'm not gonna put the teriyaki sauce on it. And then I removed some of the sugar from that meal. And if you just do little things like that from each meal, it'll reduce the amount of sugar you're eating a day, which will be helpful for your body. And also, reducing sugar does a lot of things besides reduce the sugar in your blood. It helps you not be so inflamed and so bloated. It'll help your mind work. It'll help you just to feel better, as long as you're properly providing the rest of the nutrients to your body.
It's
So-
scary when somebody tells us that cancer cell likes sugar.
Yeah.
Say that again?
Las células cancerosas se alimentan de azúcar. How do you say?
Oh.
Yeah.
The cancer
Oh,
cells,
Yeah.
they
They eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say, no way. Get away from sugar.
Yeah. But you want to remember, not all sugars are bad. Fruits, vegetables,
Yeah.
small amounts, natural sugars, it's okay for you as long as you watch how you're putting them into your body. So I just wanted to show you guys this because we were talking about how you don't know how you're eating so much sugar every day. So I found this online, and it was in collaboration with the American Heart Association. And at the top it says hidden sugar content in everyday foods. So a Twinkie, 19 grams of sugar. So I want to go back really fast. So remember it says women limit to 25 grams a day. So if you eat a Twinkie, you're already at 19 grams.
What is Twinkie?
No puedes
it's
la one.
It's very
Yeah.
sweet.
It's a little pastry with cream in the middle. You can get it at the gas station, at the store. If you don't, if you don't know what it is, don't try it.
No.
It's then you'll want it.
Curiosity, that was like doing
Yeah.
that. I don't like it at all.
No, I did it right.
It's very, very sweet, artificial sweet. But then I wanted to show you guys like some of the other things that you don't know have sugar. White bread has a lot of sugar in it, 3 grams per slice. Strawberry yogurt, 18 grams for like a Yoplait brand. Orange juice, 21 grams, a cup of orange juice, and that's your whole daily sugar intake. A granola bar, a applesauce for 1 cup of applesauce,
Worth it.
36 grams.
Wow.
So that's way over what you what a woman is supposed to have. And then some other things on here. It's like this barbecue sauce per 2 tablespoons. You all know how small a tablespoon is. So for 2
the
tablespoons,
whole day. Almost.
yeah,
Oh, no.
16
I
grams.
prefer a coffee with cream.
So these are just things that we're eating every day,
And we
usually
don't
on the
notice
go or just pouring on. Yeah, and you don't notice it. But this is how much
Dressing.
sugar they have. It's just something to think about. It's not something to be paranoid over, but it's just something to think about while you're eating. Yes, Dr. Moses?
Do you have cereals in your thing?
Yeah. No, I didn't put actual cereal. There's oatmeal here that has 12 grams. But what Dr. Moses is talking about, like cereal, like Frosted Flakes or things like that,
Yeah,
there would be
you
a
know,
lot of sugar.
market is- It's marketing the children, the parents and the children, that's what they like.
Yeah.
My
They're
kids get
supposed to-
Chex.
God bless you. They're
Chex and
supposed to be
Cheerios.
change everything now.
That's what we
Cheerios.
buy in my house, Chex and Cheerios.
Yeah, Cheerios, they have on the box that they're good for your heart health. Also, Cheerios are good. And then a lot of the good cereals, like the Fruit Loops and things like that, they don't have sugar-free versions. But there are some cereals, I'm not sure exactly off the top of my head, but like
Special K.
Special K is good for you. Or like another one that's kind of sneaky, Honey Bunches of Oats, that has a lot of sugar. It's really good and it seems good for you because it has like the granola and the nuts.
But it's
See,
not
it
because it has the honey in
It
it.
has a lot of
But
sugar.
now they supposed to be gonna change everything on the cereals, but still it's gonna be sugar.
Yeah. So yeah, just go ahead and watch out for that so you're not eating hidden sugar. If you're intentionally eating the sugar, or watching how much it is, then that's different. But hidden sugars is what really gets people. And then also I got this from the CDC website, and it says that this is probably for America. The main sources of added sugar are drinks. So 24% from sugary drinks such as soft drinks, fruit drinks, sports, and energy drinks. So when you're going to the drive-through and you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna get a Coke, that's really what's getting a lot of people.
But
And
is like Diet Coke better than Coke?
It's the
Dr.
same
Moses,
thing.
what-
I don't drink
That's
Coke.
so-
I don't drink Coke or
Yeah,
soda.
it's the same
It's the same
thing I
thing.
told
Or
you
is it
about.
worse
Yeah.
Even though it says diet,
It's worse.
it is metabolized in the liver and is converted into fat. So,
No reconoce los químicos. Está peor.
so yeah, so when you're
I have
sitting
a
down,
I don't drink Coke.
I do have a question.
oh yeah,
Because they are coming out with sodas with zero sugar out now.
yes.
But like what kind of?
How accurate is that?
So there's two different kinds you'll notice. There's cans that say no sugar added, and there's cans that say zero sugar. So zero and no, they mean different things because of what Dr. Moses is talking about. So when they don't have actual sugar, they're putting artificial sweeteners, and those
That's more for
artificial
your body.
sweeteners, depending on what they are, what they're using, your body uses them differently. So he's been giving the example that it gets metabolized into fat instead.
That's what I was.
So yeah, Dr. Moses, the zero sugar versus no sugar, are those two different sweeteners, or what does that mean?
You know, I'm not quite sure about that. I need to
Yeah.
find out. So, but you know that aspartame and some of these other additives they put, they're like 100, 400 times sweeter than sugar. So that's why they put. So the sweetness is there, but it does not get absorbed into the bloodstream.
Yeah.
But it still does something to the body.
They're putting cane sugar in the Coca-Cola now.
Mm.
Really?
Yeah.
Instead of what they used
Mhm.
before?
Syrup.
Syrup.
But still, get away from
But
Coca-Cola.
the cane sugar is better than the syrup. No, I don't know.
Oh, the cane is better than the cane sugar.
It still works.
So-
It's still sugar.
It's still sugar, but I
No,
don't
wait,
drink Coke.
wait away from Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Water
So-
is good.
Just be careful of the drinks because that's such an easy way not just to
Yeah.
intake sugar, but to drink your calories for the day.
But it is so good.
So when you're just drinking drink after drink, juice, soda, you're really drinking your calories, and then when you eat a meal in addition to that, you're
adds up.
overdoing how many calories you should be intaking per day. And then I just wanted to highlight at the bottom, it says food, 19% of added sugar is from desserts and sweet snacks, which makes sense. 9% from candy and sugars, and then 7% from breakfast cereal and bars. So when you think about it, 7% is a lot of your daily sugar just to eat a bowl of cereal. Okay, so I think this is my last slide. So I just wanted to highlight some small swaps to cut out sugar. So like this clinic is called, it's called the First Steps. So these are just some easy, or not easy, again, it's very hard, some first steps that you can take to try and reduce the amount of sugar. So the first one I have is swap soda for water or sparkling water. A lot of people, when they're craving soda, they're craving the carbonation. So drinking something like sparkling water is a good way to have that alternative. And then choose fruit for dessert. It's so nice, especially in the summer after dinner, to have like some strawberries or something like that. It's very refreshing and better to have that natural sugar rather than eating a Twinkie. Add cinnamon or vanilla instead of sugar. This is in regards to your coffee. Instead of using maybe creamer or just packets of sugar, try cinnamon or vanilla. And then just a tip, read labels, look for low added sugar. So I know on a lot of our foods there are things that say reduced sugar or low sugar. Yeah. So make sure you're reading the other ingredients just to make sure. But a lot of these things, they do have less sugar than normal. And after you start eating these things for a while, you forget how sweet they originally were and taste good. Personally, for me, I'm trying to think, what I really, really like, and now I can't have the regular version of it, is syrup. I have sugar-free syrup when I'm gonna have pancakes or something like that. Mm-hmm. And the other day I accidentally used regular syrup for the first time, and I was like, how was I ever eating this? Like, it hurts my teeth, it's so sugary. So if you just slowly use the sugar-free or the reduced sugar alternatives, your taste buds will slowly get used to them, and you won't crave the sugar as much. So yeah, does anyone have any questions or comments?
I'm diabetic and I can avoid to drink a coffee in the morning. I don't use sugar, I use just a regular milk, which is really good. But sometimes, honestly, I add a piece of bread. As a Latina, we always have bread at home. So it's hard for me to keep, my sugar levels low. When I become a diabetic, I didn't know there was in the family. So I wasn't going to a coma, and it was like 19, 20 days in a hospital, because my body wasn't working well. When they try to use the machine it doesn't even read the numbers. So it was so hard for me to understand the sugar, the proteins to eat, and it's still hard.
It's very hard. It's a lot of work.
It was 12 years ago, and it's still, suffering in that. And I have 2 types of insulin to use, and plus metformin and all those I can mention you.
Right.
Every year it's kind of like, okay, let's do this, let's do that. And thanks to Mr. Moses, it was like lowering everything because he was talking to me about all this.
Right.
To cut, everything that I eat. But
you can keep your fun with coffee.
Yes.
Black coffee.
You know what? Well, I mean, it is actually say black coffee, but because I didn't use as much as cream, it's just that I don't like black coffee at all.
Oh, but you add the milk from
Yes,
the gallon.
I just add the milk a little bit of that, just to give it a little different flavor of the coffee. But original, I know a coffee is to drink, is a black, just to enjoy the flavor of the coffee. But I can't. I can't.
You know what? I had no problem with the bread and el tostado. Like Latino, you say my husband is always bringing bread.
Well,
And
same
he's
thing
a
in my
diabetes.
house.
But you know what I do? I got the animalitos crackers, which is no calories, almost nothing. And I just got 2 or 3 when I decide or something like that.
Yeah,
The
for me it's
animalitos are
hard,
so small that animal crackers.
Yeah.
And this is the one that has less sugar.
This is from your grandchildren?
Yeah, and they love it, and I say, okay, when I need a coffee
It's
with
hard.
nicotine, I got 2 of those.
Yeah, for me it's hard
And you live it
because
yourself with the little animals.
my husband likes that, even though we don't have bread. He says, well, you know how to bake, and I say, yeah. So let's make some scones with blueberries. And then, okay, let's try that, but he doesn't like that. And then when I have my grandkids, they love cookies, and that just has to be with sugar.
Get away from that.
I tried sometimes to do it no sugar. I try to be, more free sugar, but it's hard. It's hard when you have someone to love so
Someone
much
else
sugar.
that brings it in.
Get away from the grandkids and the husband.
It's impossible.
My husband prefer regular milk than the 2% milk, for example.
wow.
And he had I don't know if you haven't seen the quick strawberry. So he had 3 or 4 spoons of that to the milk.
Oh, wow.
If you see him, he's not fat, he's very tall. He's about 6 foot, but I mean, he has just a belly. He's not really a heavy man.
After 40, you know what I did? Because he didn't want the 2%, I just switched the top. And he don't even know it. 6 months later, he find out. I just switched the lid.
Oh my god.
Funny.
And he was drinking it all. And I said, wow. And 6 months later, I confessed.
That's your see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You stood right here.
Yeah.
Come on, don't let the secrets out.
And we're still with the 2%. Not on us.
Yeah, well, your story is a perfect example of how going to a physician like an awesome one like Dr. Moses, where he can
Exactly.
counsel you on what to do and like provide opportunities where you can refresh, like how to eat based on maybe your condition,
Yeah.
is really important because there's some physicians out there who maybe might not have the time to do something like that, and then you have to go home and learn about it yourself. And diabetes is a very difficult condition to manage.
it
It
is.
takes a lot of work and a lot of thinking. So it's awesome that you get to have refreshers and have an awesome physician like Dr. Moses to help you.
Yeah.
The cinnamon and the vanilla that's recommended there, it's a good thing.
Yeah, you've been telling me. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to me. I think we're going to move on to our next session.
Can I just add
Yeah.
something else here? You know, this is one thing I think it's becoming a habit. Like right in the beginning. But when I see somebody eating a donut, I feel bad for them. Because they are robbing their body of nutrients by just putting empty stuff.
I know.
But it's because
Once in a while.
well, yeah, so I was coming to that. So when I go to a party and if they have something, then I don't say I'm not going to eat it. I take a little bit and I taste a little bit. So parties are perhaps one place where you can, if you want.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you kind of stand out.
Yeah. You know, you
And
don't want
you know,
it.
yeah, I really don't like to be noticed kind of thing. So you just blend into the crowd and take a little bit and I enjoy.
Yeah.
A little ice cream, the kids party maybe, it makes everybody happy,
Yeah.
happy too. But when you come home and when you're by yourself, you don't need
No.
it. So
That's true.
Yeah, that was perfect.
It's hard to get away from the sugars in the coffee, but if you do it for 1 week, because
And I have it. Make
yeah,
that-
I got away from sugars completely
Yeah.
in coffee, and I would have black coffee in the morning. The first couple of days it's a little hard, and
Yeah, and you might be a little bit cranky and it changes your mood, but
then
he's,
after that you get used to it,
Yeah.
and it's like okay.
you get used to it. And what Dr. Moses said is a great alternative. Like if there's something that you really, really want, I saw this video online the other day of it's like this trend of people saying, okay, I really am craving this. I'm gonna go ahead and have 3 bites of it and then throw it away. So if you are just able to control how much of something you're eating, like it's okay maybe if you have a little bit of a dessert, if you have like 1 bite, if you know you shouldn't be having the whole thing. But I really like that trend of just having a few bites because when you're craving something, it's really hard to not have it.
the other thing is, I don't know whether if anybody's eaten this whole wheat toast with nothing on it. If you chew on it, the saliva has an enzyme that breaks down sugar.
Okay.
And if you chew it long enough for the saliva to mix with just the plain bread toasted, whole wheat bread, you can actually begin to feel the sweetness come. So that is part of the mindful eating. Enjoy the food as they are, not put so much additive to it doesn't need to have
Butter, sweetener.
yeah. So, but it takes a little effort to do that. But there is taste in each thing. Even with tortillas that's made with whole corn.
Corn, yeah.
There is you roast it. It brings out a smell that's so nice, and then you eat it and don't swallow it, but chew it and let it break down. So you can-
I like my tortillas hard. Is that better than the soft?
I like it that way too.
Me too. I know, like, don't throw it away. I love that one.
Yeah.
So thank you, Lisa,
Awesome.
for bearing with us.
So the 3 of us are going to do the last section together, and the last section is move. And what we've been talking about in the last couple sessions is how to do small steps to get your body moving a little bit more. And not everybody is the same. Not everybody can do the same kind of movement. But we've been talking about some adaptive ways of moving, exercises you can do while sitting, and just how to take care of your body so that you are continuing to be healthy and that your body does work well and doesn't kind of, as you get older and you don't move as much, it might slow down a little bit. So we want to make sure that everybody knows how they can move in ways that continues their lifespan. So I'm going to pass it on to Daisy.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So the first thing we want to talk about today is why movement matters, especially with age. I think a lot of us just kind of know like the general rule of thumb, like you should exercise, you should always exercise, but we also want to go into a little bit more depth into specifically what that does for you as you're getting older. So the first thing is it keeps your brain sharp because I think Dr. Moses mentioned how like when we're moving after eating, it would increase the sugar flow to the muscle. But similarly, the physical activity also improves like the blood flow to your brain, and it just helps you feel more like sharp and like just more awake and alert. And also, there's also research showing how it reduces the risk of like memory loss or like dementia and things like that. And secondly, as you're moving, it also protects your muscles and your bones as well. It can help to prevent muscle loss, and it also overall like strengthens your bone. I think all of us know that when we like continually do an exercise, we can physically feel that we're stronger, and I think that that is a perfect example of how physical activity can help translate to feeling like your muscles and bones are they're strengthening them, and it's overall protecting them from injury and things like that. And lastly, there's a lot of association with like physical activity and like blood pressure. So physical activity also helps to support like a healthy heart. It overall helps like lowering blood pressure and also improving your blood sugar and cholesterol levels. I know that these are a lot of general information, but we want to kind of have an overview slide of why it matters like as you age, and just some kind of key points like to just summarize it again, like keeps your brain sharp, protects your muscles and your bones, and overall like improves your heart health. But I think the other slides would go into a little bit more detail or touch on other aspects of physical movement with age. And I go ahead and pass it off to Niall.
Okay. Thank you, Daisy. So a big question is, what happens if you don't move enough? You know, there are a lot of big issues that can happen. We know the benefits, but if you're not moving enough just in general, and when we talk about movement in general, we just mean very, very basic movement. It doesn't have to be you're going outside doing some crazy exercise, you're an athlete. It's just very, very basic stuff. You going for a walk, you doing chores around the house. Very simple things where you are using your muscles, you are using your bones, and you're kind of, as we spoke about in the previous section, you take in all those sugars, you take in all those carbohydrates, now you have to burn them, now you have to use them. So it's very, very basic activity that you can do. So if you do sit too much, which is something, you know, we may all be guilty of, some of our jobs require us to sit for a long time, that can all be bad for your health overall. It can increase your risk for heart disease, diabetes, and some cancers as well. So it's a very, very scary thing that if you're sitting for too long for a prolonged amount. So it's an instance of, okay, at my work, I have to sit in front of a computer all day. Try and take breaks throughout the day, you know, just go for a walk, maybe go get some water, just kind of take a break just from sitting. There's an expression going around, I don't know if you've heard it, sitting is the new smoking, because it can be very, very detrimental to your health to sit for really, really long periods of time. And we live in the digital age, you know, where we do have to do a lot of work in front of the computer. We have to study most of the day, and a lot of that studying takes place on a computer. So we even have to remind ourselves, hey, let me take a break from sitting, let me go take a walk, just do something else. It can honestly lead to poor balance and higher risk of falling as you get older, because when you are sitting too long, basically the distribution of your blood throughout your body, it changes when you're sitting versus when you're standing. So basically, let's say you've been sitting for a very, very long duration of time. When you stand up, because of that distribution of blood, it can actually make you dizzy. And in some cases, you can actually faint because your blood is less accustomed to kind of redistributing when you stand up. And then when you have less movement, it's less independence. I know that's a very, very important thing for people in general. When they get older, they don't want to lose their independence. And a big factor in losing your independence is not being able to walk. Unfortunately, some people need to use walkers, they need to use canes, they need to use something to get around. So kind of making sure you're using your muscles, using your bones, you're keeping them in a healthy state means that you won't necessarily have to use those things as you get older. You kind of get around, go places on your own. And it's hard to do daily activities if you aren't using your body the way you're supposed to. So simple things that we take for granted, things like walking, things like going to the bathroom by yourself. It's really, really unfortunate because sometimes when you kind of have a more sedentary lifestyle, you lose that ability to do those very, very basic things. And you may need help, you know, just doing those really basic things in general. And people who are more sedentary in general, they have a higher likelihood of having to live in a nursing facility or assisted facility when they're older. And I'll hand it off to Alyssa to kind of conclude this move section.
Thank
Alyssa,
you.
is it okay if we take a few more minutes to go over?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So don't rush through.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So the last slide is about making small movements and how they have a big impact in your life. So kind of what Niall was saying, like there are small things you can do every so often, like if you're sitting for an hour, maybe instead of sitting for a whole hour, you can stand up and walk around for a few minutes. So I want to go over things like that. So the first point is that you don't need a gym. You don't have to have a gym membership or a gym close by or any fancy exercise equipment to have movement in your daily life. So walking, stretching, dancing, and chores are all movement that is very good for your body. And trying to do 30 minutes a day, even if it's broken up throughout the day, is so incredibly impactful for your body. So I don't know if anyone here has ever used like a watch like this or a Fitbit or something like that, or carried your phone with you, but it tells you a lot about how you're moving in your daily life. And when you have something like this, and I'm not saying this is something that you need, it's just something that makes me think about it. I can set my watch so that every hour it tells me to stand up. So if I forget and I'm working on my computer, working, it'll buzz and it'll say you need to stand up for a little while. And that makes me remember, oh yeah, I shouldn't just be sitting for 4 hours straight. Like, let me get up, let me walk around the block one time and come back. And it doesn't even have to be something like that. If you get up, go to your kitchen, get a snack, walk to the front door, see what's outside, let the dog out, that's all movement that helps towards your daily movement goals. Dancing is something that could be super fun for you. It's not it's not like you're lifting weights. Like, dancing is good for your body. It helps you move and it gets your heart pumping. Walking, not everybody can walk the same amount of distances, and that's totally okay. My mom actually, she has a lot of trouble walking. She has something called multiple sclerosis, which makes it hard for her to walk. And I'm having a really hard time lately, like getting her moving. And it's because she's scared that if she walks too far away from her house, she won't be able to come back. She'll get stuck. And that makes me really sad because I don't want her to ever feel like that. And I go with her to make sure that she can come back. But I tell her, Mom, why don't you go outside, and every time you feel like you're gonna stop, turn around and come back. And then if you keep doing that every day or once or twice a day, soon you're gonna be able to get to the end of the block and you can come back. Because you just have to build that stamina even if it is uncomfortable. And it's people like that have like certain conditions where maybe they can't push themselves as much. But I think it's important, like we were talking about earlier a lot with having family and friends and a support system, to have people who kind of push you, even if it's something that frustrates you or makes you uncomfortable. Because you do need to move your body even if it is hard for you. So 30 minutes a day, chores, washing dishes, walking in the backyard. And then the last point says stay active, stay you. And it's just talking again about how movement keeps your body strong and your mind sharp. If you don't move, your brain might not be as happy, might not work as good, you might be cranky, you might not have a good day. Movement does a lot for the hormones in your body, release things that makes you happy. And moving helps you enjoy life longer and on your own terms. So again, if you have the ability to continue moving, you'll always be able to keep working at new goals. And everybody wants to be able to go through their life doing the things that they love to do. So you want to make sure that you are moving, even if it's hard some days, even if you don't feel like it. Try getting up, try taking a small walk. It's so good for your body. And Kendall last week is our teammate who's not here today. She usually does this section. She said motion is lotion, and I've been saying that to my mom too. It's really important to realize that if you just keep moving your body, you're going to be able to continue moving your body. And so you don't want to stop. You don't want to be sedentary. So yeah, that was the move section. Does anybody have anything that they want to talk about, or maybe share like a little thing that you do during the day that is some kind of movement or exercise that maybe you hadn't realized before today is really good for you?
I just remember back when because I went through CNA school.
Okay.
And I remember our trainer, she used to tell us in training, a body in motion stays in motion. A body at rest will stay at rest.
That's really good.
And it's always stayed with me. So
Yeah.
when he had his rupture, I always would tell him, a body in motion will stay in motion. And when he came home after spending almost 3 weeks in the hospital, I made him get up and walk and relearn how to walk again
Yeah.
and move around. So
Yeah.
now it's, how do you motivate somebody
Yeah.
on a regular basis is
Right.
my question.
I think again, it's different for probably everyone. Her question was like, how do you motivate somebody? So I know that like for my family in general, what I do is I always offer like after dinner, do you guys want to go on a walk? And it's just like we're hanging out still, we're talking, and we're just going on a walk, and we don't even realize like we're exercising. Or this is maybe like not for everybody, but I do like for my mom, for example, which is a different situation than you, but what I'm sure he's very grateful that he had you to help, even though it was probably frustrating for him at the time.
He was frustrated.
Yeah, but I yesterday I had a conversation with my mom, and me and my mom are best friends, so it's like we talk like sisters. But I told her, we were joking, and I was like, do you want to like be walking at my wedding? Like you need to go on a walk with me right now so you can like walk with me at the wedding. And she's like, oh, okay, I'll go with you. So I just like remind her things like that. So I think that's helpful in life to like help your family members out, like, hey, it's really good for you if you just do this small exercise right now. And I just like to remind my family of that, like, you want to be here for a long time, you want to be happy, you want to be healthy, you never want to be down on yourself. And I think you can motivate your family and friends like that without being mean. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some of my older patients cannot drive because, eyesight or something.
Right.
And they hate to lose their license because that is the last vestige of independence.
Yeah.
And losing the ability to get up from the bed to the chair, to go to the bathroom, to the kitchen is probably worse. You have to depend on somebody to do these things. So it's a great motivator to move. And I was just thinking about the blue zones. Out of the 5 blue zones that I've identified, 4 of them for their exercise rely completely on daily activities, things they could do. Gardening, walking, working in the kitchen, lifting. They don't go to the gym. They don't go run marathons. That's what they do to live. It's only in Loma Linda where you see a lot more centenarians who youth. But this is an adaptation for the modern times. So whatever it takes to move. Along with the motion is lotion, there is another phrase, it's called what you don't use, you lose. And that's the thing with the body.
Very true.
You put the arm in a cast, after a month or so when the cast is taken out, all the muscles are gone. The body just, it doesn't waste anything.
Yeah.
So, this is one of the reasons why I put the footprint, a foot, it represents motion.
Yes.
And in our website we put this phrase, and this I learned from one of my old professors. It's what God has given us 2 doctors, the left and the right foot. And so in mom's case, I think what you're doing is wonderful, and the motivation you're given her. When somebody doesn't use it, it's not only that the disease prevents her from moving, but the disease affects everything else. The muscles are gone, the tendons become weak, the joints become stiff. So when you do some of these things, you get some of those back, and those are necessary to walk. And I think the idea of returning back home, when you feel, I think that's a great way to do that. My wife and I, when we first started jogging, I did a marathon, and she drove me to Los Angeles. It was 1993, and that day it was hot, over 100 degrees, and I had thought I'll finish about 4 hours, but it took me another half an hour to finish. But she had to take me there before the marathon started. So she was out in the heat for 7 hours.
Oh my.
So she said, next time,
I'm gonna go with you.
yeah, I'm gonna go with you. So she said, and it was difficult for me to run with her in the morning. We used to get up like 5:30 in the morning to run. And so what I used to do, I used to go front, come back and meet her. Go back, me. So I never let her out of sight. So even people of different ability, you can still do things together
Yes.
as long as you. So I think that's a great idea to do, and I'm sure she's gonna want to do.
Yeah, I'm sure she is. She would not. But yeah, I want to highly encourage you guys to go on the website and watch the other videos, because especially for this section, Kendall talks a lot about adaptive movements, like sitting on your couch and using armbands to do your exercise, if that's more comfortable for you. Or we've talked a lot about swimming, and it's a lot better on your joints if you're uncomfortable like walking. So yeah, I would highly encourage going back and looking at those. But those are all of our slides today. So does anybody have any other questions for anyone?
You know, there are no questions. I like to ask Joselito to kind of sum up. He's been quiet the whole time.
What's your opinion?
Actually, I have a question. Because you talked about carbohydrates, protein, sugar. Is there any section about fats and oils?
Fats and what was the second one?
Fats and oils?
Oh, fats and oils?
Yeah.
You want to talk about that next time?
I don't know if you have any.
Yeah, no, we could do that.
Let's see if it's something like it's absent, you know?
Yeah, it's
Good point.
it's something really important to talk about, because I think it's not something that maybe a lot of people know about. So the way we've been curating these sessions is we kind of, while we go forward in kind of a pattern, we have always been taking into account what everybody's asking about and what they're curious to learn. So I think that would be a great part to talk about next time in the series, fats and oils. Last time we touched on like macronutrients, including fats in your diet, but I think it'd be very interesting to talk about and learn about fats and oils and how you're consuming them. Yeah.
Very good. Like to hear from you, you know, how these talks make a difference in your life. For me, the most important thing I'm learning from this is incorporating fruits in my. I was very bad. We used to have so much fruit, but I didn't eat them until I started attending the class this time around. So now I eat 2 or 3 servings of fruit each time. So I'm very happy. Like to hear from you next time when we meet. By the way, next time we are not meeting on the 4th week. We're going to meet on the 5th week.
Okay.
The 4th week, if you come, the blood bank will be here. They'll be happy to take your blood, but we won't be here.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I had a funeral, so I gotta
Okay,
leave.
take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, well,